Hey, in our last episode, we talked about one of the things that you needed to be aware of was pending regulations, pending laws, pending moves by the government to regulate artificial intelligence. And guess what? Today, US Senate made the first move. That and more coming right up.
Welcome to the dark side of AI.
Hey, welcome to Wolf's Watch. I'm Wolf, and this is 21st Century Television, live and interactive. Got to tell you, I was surprised that it was announced today because usually things are announced on Fridays that are meant to be kind of skipped through the news cycle because it goes into the weekend. No one's really paying attention. Two pieces of legislation were introduced today in the U.S. Senate to regulate artificial intelligence. The first is allegedly intent. I'm saying this because I haven't read the text yet. Allegedly intended to help U.S. citizens with transparency of what the government is doing with artificial intelligence, requiring, for example, to notify you that this a service that you're accessing through the U.S. government is utilizing artificial intelligence in some way, explaining what that is. Second part of that is to require a mechanism for people that are affected by decisions that artificial intelligence programs are making on behalf of the federal government, that those decisions can be appealed. So apparently, right now, if an artificial intelligence were to automate a ruling, say a regulatory ruling against you, you would not have any means of appealing that. Allegedly, based on what was said, don't know what that is, but it's to clarify that, to say, hey, look, there must explicitly be a process by which you, if say you were affected negatively by an outcome from an AI that the government was using, could appeal that to the government. Second piece of legislation is creating a new agency to assess the effect of AI technology on competitiveness, where the U.S. is with regard to other countries, particularly in with regard to China, from a national security standpoint as well as a technology standpoint. So this will be making AI a national security issue. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out, because that will likely mean that the government will be super involved in all things AI, which typically in the past, when moves like that have been made by the federal government, will drive up costs, limit access, and put quote unquote guardrails for your safety on it in terms of what you can and can't do with artificial intelligence, and what you can and cannot access based on national security concerns and competitiveness with other countries. So it'll be interesting to see what the actual text of these bills are, and to get a better understanding of what's the actual impact potentially for you. These are the kinds of things, as a business owner, as CEO of your business, that you need to be aware of so that you can assess the risk, and with your team, lead them through the okay, what if? Doesn't mean something's going to happen. What if this happens? How would it affect the business? How would we respond to that? That way, if it does happen, you've you've got some thinking, some plan to fall, to begin implementing. If it does not happen, then no harm, no foul. You've at least thought through what could happen. And my experience with that has been, you will find that there are other opportunities that come up in things that you can do, opportunities you can seize in the marketplace, services you can offer based on the conversations around those what if scenarios. So that's part of the third point that I want to touch on this evening before leaving you to the weekend is, as CEO of the company, how does this affect your role? Well, it makes what if thinking, it makes risk management, risk assessment, wargaming, if you will, far more important than it has been in the past, because things are moving quickly. The stakes are high for you and your company and the people that work for you, the communities that you serve with your company. Stakes are high to be sure that you are in a position to thrive, not get run over by the changes that are happening, because of this new technology that's now being deployed. Are you doing that? Have you done that in the past? What needs to change in order to incorporate impact of AI and other technologies? Because this will launch another round of enabled technologies because of AI. Like, for example, robotics is something that's quickly becoming part of the conversation with AI. Not always has been, but in terms of popular press, business press, seeing more and more of that because now there are more options available due to this onslaught, this deluge, this whole tsunami of new AI tools and new levels of technology. Right? We saw a huge change with one of the tools, ChatGPT, when it went from ChatGPT 3.5 to ChatGPT 4. Radical improvement in performance. ChatGPT 5 is coming, right? We're at 4, ChatGPT 5 is coming. What will happen then? What will that enable? What will that allow you to do, your team to do, and how are you leading them in assessing that? So, 3 things to think about. Federal government is going to require itself to be transparent and give you a means in telling you when it is using AI in services that you're accessing, and to also give you an explicit path to be able to appeal decisions made by AIs that the government's deploying. Second thing is federal government is creating a new agency to assess the impact of AI on U.S. competitiveness, or actually to look at how competitive is the United States compared to other countries, specifically with respect to China from a national security standpoint, in keeping up globally and maintaining global leadership in this technology, and other issues that are yet to be determined. And third thing is, how are you raising issues like this with your team, with your direct reports as CEO of your company? So this is one of the impacts that this is having is on the conversation that you should be having with your staff, with your team, and with your stakeholders, right? Your key stakeholders, investors, with your largest customers. How's it impacting them as well? And your largest suppliers. Need to have that worked into your conversation with those groups. And if you are not holding those kind of conversations, you need to start. This has been Wolf's Watch. I'm Wolf. Glad you're part of the conversation. As always, before we sign off, I almost forgot something. We've been talking about the CEO's AI playbook. And that's from Tracy when she was on the show recently. Tracy, still appreciated that you were on the show. Looking forward to the next time. The AI for CEOs event is coming. If you want more information on it, it's going to be invitation only. If you want information on that, send a note to AI@CEOplaybooks.com. Again, that's AI@CEOplaybooks.com. This is part of the series that we are launching to have a conversation about how does this really affect you as a business leader, as the CEO of your company. Not the technology, not learning how to engineer prompts for ChatGPT. That's fine. You probably, if you're not, need to dabble with that at the very least in order to be exposed to it and have more familiarity when talking with your team as they're using it for your business. That being said, it's like, what's the actual, not a technical conversation, but the actual conversation that you need to have as a CEO, with the information that you need, the things you need to be aware of, how it affects your role as CEO. That's what the conversation is with this event series. It's going to be a series. The first one is going to focus on what questions should you be asking? How does this affect your bottom line? And there will be one more surprise, plus surprise guests to speak and do live Q&A along the way. So that's AI@CEOplaybooks.com. One more time, AI@CEOplaybooks.com. Shoot a note to me there and say you want to be included, that you want to have an application sent for you to get an invitation to the event, and be more than happy to have that conversation with you. I'm Wolf. This is Wolf's Watch. Glad you're part of the conversation, and I look forward to seeing you on the trail.